Hello folks, I'm going to attempt a playthrough of the game Apollo, the game of our first voyages. It can be played 1 to 4 players, either cooperatively or solo. If you play solo, you play all 4 command positions. I made these little designer cards here. The 4 players are Houston, control. You have the overall flight commander. You have the command module pilot and the limb module pilot. And to start off, you can play beginner, intermediate, or more difficult level. So we're going to do the intermediate. And basically what the intermediate says is that Houston and the commander get each 2 save the day cards, and then the other pilots get 1. And what these save the day cards do is mitigate the dice roll, either +1 or +2. And then you have 2 extras. So in the easy mode, everybody gets 2. Difficult mode, I believe everybody gets 1. This is the game manual. It shows you how to play. Game designer is Andy Haynes, and the beautiful, well, here, box cover artwork is Vincent Van Hoof. So let's get started. There are 3 mounted boards, each with their own deck of cards. And we begin with what's known as the Saturn V launch board. So we have our Saturn V token here. Now let me say this. My game did not come with these. They were missing, so I printed out and made my own. And they are double-sided. And they go in these little stands. So you start on the first one, and you simply draw a card here. There's no discard pile, so I'm going to cover up the map, and it says no change to current Saturn V performance. Basically, I'm a go, and I move on to the next level, number 2. I draw a card, simple as that, and it says Saturn V propellant tank issue leak. If the structural point is 3 or less, Houston must roll a D12. Well, I'm at a 5 structural point. So, as far as I know, I'm good to go to the next level. All right, and level 3, last thing off here, and no change. I am going to move to 4. This goes quite quickly. The 4th level, rocket blasting off, trying to leave the Earth's atmosphere. Awesome. No change to performance. I'm moving to 5. Draw a card. And we're going to have some oscillations. And so basically what we're going to do is if we're in the position, what position are we in? We're in position number 5. Okay, so position number 4 to 6, we have 1 minus strength point. So we're just going to reduce this to here. We still have a go. Still have a go, folks. All right, I am going to 6, trying to achieve Earth orbit. Flip a card, and no changes. Moving on to the 7th position, draw a card, and we are going to have the engine oscillations again. What position are we in? We're now in 7, so we have minus 0 strength point. There won't be any changes to here. Let's go to 8, trying to reach 9, 1 more to go. And again, oscillations, 7 to 9, 0 structural points changes. So we go on with no structural damage to 9, and we draw a card, no changes. That's it. That was the first part of the game. We've achieved orbit, and now we're going to slide over to get to the right board here. We're going to slide over to this board. Now basically what this flight manual is telling me to do is to draw the cards numbered 1 through 9, and if I succeed, let's see if we can get that, if we succeed, then you're going to move on to the next page here and try to do some we call Earth parking orbit procedure. So you go to what's called P2. And P2 is, we take our command module here, and we go from P1, which we just performed, and we go to P2. Now we're going to start drawing from this deck. And basically you can see, if you follow this flight manual, it would say the astronauts have the opportunity to repair spacecraft systems. I don't have any damage, so nothing to happen there. So basically, you're going to simulate. You would have 2 orbits to try to repair, and you would have to roll a 12. Well, we don't have any damage. So when complete, if repairs are not needed, then you move the spacecraft to P3. And that's all we're going to do. No card pulling on this. We're going to move to P3. And your flight manual flips to P3, as you can see at the bottom here. Okay, and this is your translunar injection procedure. So go, no-go decision required. And basically, if you're playing a cooperative, each player would give you a go or no-go, and the final decision is, I believe, is with the commander. So we don't have any damages. We're a go. We're going to continue on. Basically, a no-go means you go to abort procedures, and you would flip to that section of the flight manual. So recommendations is a go for TLI burn. The commander rolls a D12, and here we go. Roll it, and it's a 7. So on here, 4 to 12 equals a successful burn, Apollo, and the S4B proceed to P4 transposition and docking. So basically, we're going to flip the page to P4. And on this board, we're going to move to P4 here. And back to the flight manual, it says this is the transposition and docking, or the T&D procedures. So the commander rolls a D12. Now, -1 for yellow, -2 for red on the command and service module systems. That is recorded right here. And as you can see, they're all green, 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 go. If we had received some damages during the launch, yellow token, and here are my tokens here, would indicate a -1 to a system, and red would indicate a -2. And the systems are, for the CSM, the command and service module, E is electrical, P is propulsion, S is life support, and a lunar module is the same situation. So we're green all the way, go. Sorry about the glare here, reflecting off of the light. So what we're going to do here is we're going to roll the command module pilot. Of course, if you're playing cooperatively, that would be this guy right here, and he could play these, or she could play these cards if needed. So we're going to save our cards. We're shooting for success. For the docking procedure, basically we're pulling out the lunar module and flipping it around, getting ready for our trans-lunar voyage. All right, so I'm going to roll the dice. Here we go. And it is a 6. 4 to 12, successful T&D. And the command service module and the lunar module are going to progress to P5, the trans-lunar coast. So now, as you can see, Earth, we're successfully leaving Earth's gravitational pull, and we're moving towards the moon, and we are going to change this icon to this baby here, because this is what it's going to be the correct image. So this is what it looks like, and we're on P5. And I'm going to turn my flight manual to P5. And now P5 is the translunar coast procedure. We're basically coasting to the moon. Mission event card. So Houston draws 1 mission event card and complete any required steps before proceeding to the P5 procedure. So basically, this board, this will be our first time we draw one of these cards. And this guy here, Houston, is going to draw that card. And we're going to fulfill it. So it says, Houston to the rescue. Houston finds a fix to 1 spacecraft issue. Upgrade any system by 1. May use immediately or save for another program that contains a fix. P5, P7, P. We're going to save it because again, we don't have any damages. So that's another sort of save the day card that Houston has. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so we successfully pulled a mission event card, and the flight manual to continue says the astronauts have an opportunity to fix. You would get to actually roll 2 D12s, and on the 12 you would upgrade a system 1 level, but we don't have any damages. Awesome. So we're going to continue. Spacecraft moves on to position number 6, lunar approach and lunar orbit insertion, the LOI. All right, so we're going to back off here. We're going to move from P5 here to P6, and we're going to flip the manual. So it's a very procedural game. It's going to basically guide you what to do. And P6 is your lunar approach and lunar orbit insertion. What we're trying to do, guys, is land on the moon and collect rocks and take pictures and get our guys safely back home. So first you're going to do a go, no-go decision required, and you can poll the 4 players. If you're solo, it's your choice, and all systems operating, we go, lunar commander, module commander, go, Houston, go, and so we're going to be a go. So from here, we're going to go down to this section. So we got a go for the LOI. The commander rolls a D12. We don't have any damages, so there's no mitigation. Again, the commander, if wants to mitigate the dice roll, modify the dice roll, has a +1 and cannot be used in certain areas. Here, this one cannot be used on P6, so we wouldn't be able to use it. But we're gonna save our cards. Pretty good odds. Commander's gonna roll a dice. Here we go, and it is a 9. That's actually a little dot there. That's a 9. And so for the 12, successful LOI burn spacecraft moves on to P7 lunar orbit. Awesome. So we're going to move our guy here to from P6 actually to P7 here. All right. So we went around like this. And the command service module is going to continue to orbit while there's going to be a procedure to detach the lunar module so we can try to go down and here and land. So we're going to leave this guy here. Let's turn our manual, flight manual, to P7. And it says lunar orbit procedure mission event card. Houston draws 1 mission event card and completes that required step before proceeding. So here's your mission event card, the second one we draw. And it says loss of communication between Houston and the Apollo spacecraft. No save the day or system repair attempts by Houston through the next program. So we're going to put this over here, and it's going to block Houston from being able to use any of its save the day cards or repair systems. So Houston's unable to communicate with the astronauts which are in lunar orbit. Maybe on the dark side, the back side of the moon, and communications is blocked. All right, so that was the card draw, and from here we are going to, let's see, astronauts have a final opportunity to fix spacecraft. Well, man, we're doing fine. We don't have any damages. Everything's a go. So no need to roll to fix. You would need a 12 otherwise. And when complete, you have the command service module, and the lunar module proceeds to P8, and that's the undocking and separation. We're getting ready to land, so we're going to go around again, and we are on P8. Flip this. This is how procedural this goes. So undocking and separation procedures. Do we have a go, Houston? Well, no contact with Houston. We don't know. We're kind of on our own here. We have commander. As a go, we have the commander. We have the command module pilot. He says go. Lunar module pilot, he says a go. So we're going to go. And what we're going to do is the lunar module pilot's going to roll a D12. And what I'm going to go ahead and do here is, let's see what he has. He has 1 card, and he can't use it for abort. And A9, P6, P13. All right, so basically he can use it now. He has 1 plus 2. I'm going to save it because he's got to land on the moon and we may need it. So here's the lunar module commander is going to roll. And he rolls a 3. That's a low number. 3 or less. First attempt is unsuccessful. So commander now is going to roll a D12. And the odds are a little bit more difficult. You need a 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of these. And let's see what we can play. We cannot play it we're on P8. And it says you can't play it P9 through P12 or A9. That's an abort 9. So we're good on this one. And this is a +1, 2 also. So we're going to go ahead and play this Save the Day card to mitigate the dice roll by 1. Just throw that out. And the commander's now going to roll. He needs 4 or greater. Oh my goodness, good thing we played it. Roll a 4 +1 Save the Day is going to give us a 5. And our 5 from the commander, successful undocking and separation. The limb or the lunar module proceeds to P9, and the command and service module proceeds to P7. And asterisk basically is saying it's going to stay in orbit while the limb does its thing. All right, so the limb goes to P9. All right, and that is going to be here. Now, what we're going to do now is I need a limb. All right, so I'm going to switch this guy out here. Okay, put him on 9. And then I'm going to bring back my command and service module on my sim and put them on P7. And we are going to proceed to, let's see what it says here. We are going to let's see what it says. Successful undocking, then goes to P9. Okay, so let's go to P9. And this is going to be the lunar module descent orbit insertion, or the DOI procedure. See how technical this is, but it's a simple play. But I like the terminology. Okay, we have a go, no-go decision. Well, we're all good. We're all green. So go. Every player has a choice here. Solo, I'm the overall person. I say go. So we have a go, and the lunar module. Let's see. It should be pilot. Okay, P for pilot rolls a D12, and we're gonna roll, hoping for above 3. And my goodness, these are some close rolls. 4. By the way, those Save the Day cards represent pilot skills or technicians back at Houston that can sort of save the day with their experience. All right, so 3 to 12 is a successful DOI, which is a descent orbit insertion procedure, and the lunar module proceeds to P10, which is the lunar landing attempt. Okay, we were successful. So basically, we're gonna move the limb to P12, and we're gonna flip the manual to, did I say P12? P10. All right, I'm gonna flip the manual to P10, program 10. So this is landing attempt procedure. So the lunar landing and launch board, the commander and the lunar module pilot move the limb, game piece, and alternate drawing 1 lunar landing card per number, position 1 through 6, rolling a D12 when necessary. The limb pilot monitors the fuel and navigation status. Houston provides go, no-go recommendations. Now we have communications back. It was only for 1, so let's go ahead and ditch this card here. All right, and so we have, let's see, remember, we still have some Save the Day stuff. And this guy, well, you can't use it for fixed rows that contains a fixed row. Let's see, may use immediately or save another program that contains a fixed row. Okay, P5, 7, 11, or 15. Well, we're on P10, so we're going to wait. All right, so basically what's happening, folks, is we're going to switch boards. And we're going to take this limb, And we're going to move to our third board, which is Lunar Landing Game Board. Kind of take a look at that. It has its own deck of cards. And we're going to put the limb on position 1. And we have basically 6 positions to descent, and then we're going to attempt the landing. And if we're successful landing, then we're going to do some procedures on here. Now, in the descent, there are 2 things we want to monitor. One is our navigation status, is we want to stay on course. And 2 is our fuel. We start with 10, and at every stage we're going to lose 1 or more fuel units, and we need enough fuel to land, or it's Saranada. It's going to be crashing time. So let's move on to this game board, and basically we draw a card for each level. So this is a lunar landing card, and let's draw the first card. It says no change to the lunar module system performance, -1 limb fuel point. So we place that down. We go over here. We are going to burn 1 unit of fuel, and that takes us to braking level number 2, and we're still on course. Okay, draw a card, and there's no change, so just costs us 1 level of fuel. We're going down to 8 units of fuel. We're still on course, and we're now at what's called the high gate here, 3. So we basically almost halfway. And then we flip the next lunar landing card, and it says high rate of descent. Failure to control the high rate of descent guarantees that the limb will crash on the moon with loss of crew. So in order to mitigate that, we need to spend a little extra fuel to prevent that. Slow it down, slow that rate of fuel descent down. Instead of 1, it's going to cost us 2 fuel points. So we got to watch our fuel. So this is getting a little bit expensive. So we're going from 8 to 6, and that brings us down to 4, which we have visibility of the landing surface. And we continue with our card draw. Oh my goodness, high rate of descent. Same thing. We need to spend extra fuel here, or we're going to crash. We have to do it. All right, so we're still on course, but we're going to go from a 6 fuel level, 5 to 4, running low on fuel. All right, had some good cards early, 2 bad cards. Oh, and then we move. Don't forget, we're now at what's called low gate. Okay, we're getting close. This is a little tricky. All right, the limb computer alarm goes off. We have a malfunction. Houston is going to roll a D12. And so my question is, this is on P10, and over here there's no P10. We can't use that card, but I think we could we can use some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and +2, and Houston is going to roll the dice. +2, it's a 4, so that would be a 6. And basically, if I didn't mitigate the dice, computer fix, but navigation would be off course, and that would create some problems later. So if I'm doing this correctly, I mitigate the dice. A 4 is now a 6, and computer is fixed, no problem, and only burn one fuel point, and that's going to bring me down to 3, and I am down to the final approach, and I'm going to draw a card. This is getting intense, and we have the limb navigation drifting off course, drift off course, navigation status decreased by 1. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to move this down to yellow. I can mitigate that by spending 2 fuel points, but that's gonna put me in red, so I'm not going to do it. Otherwise, we go off course by slightly. We're still good, and that burns 1 fuel, and it gets me down to now the landing attempt. And at this point, I believe, if you look at this, they said 1 through 6. So if we successfully went through 1 through 6, okay, which we did, pulling cards and rolling, then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, let's see, well, we continue here. Procedure to continue if a decision aboard is made. We didn't do that. Complete A9. We didn't do that. Okay, so it's a lunar landing. All right, so we're going to continue on, and basically we're going to attempt a landing. Are we on there yet? Let's see. I think I want to make sure there was something special about this. So the commander and the limb pilot, okay, move the piece, alternately drawing one lunar landing card numbered position 1 through 6. We did that. Rolling D12 when necessary. The limb pilot monitors the fuel and navigation status. Houston provides go, no-go recommendations of each phase. Go recommends continuing the landing attempt. So that's where we are. And may trigger an abort, A9, abort, non-lunar landing abort. But the commander has following. So we monitored the fuel status. It begins at 10, and it must complete position 6 with at least one remaining red. And so we're there. I mean, we actually have 2, so we're good on fuel. And the navigation status, 3 different. Of course, off course is yellow, and the limb begins on course green. The crew may take action. We know that. Okay, just looking for any effect here. Drifting off course will increase the risk to the landing as craters and borders. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. We're slightly off course. Oh, this is probably what I missed here. It's the top of the page, which is usually reserved for historical procedures. So it threw me a little bit. So continuing landing procedure, landing attempt. Okay, so that's where we are. That's what I was looking for. We are on the landing attempt. So back to the top of P10, and the commander moves the limb from final approach number 6 to the landing attempt position. No card is drawn. Instead, the commander rolls a D12 for landing attempt with the following modifiers. Okay, we don't have any, well, we do have, let's see, we have limb systems are a go. So let's see, here are our limb systems, green, green, green. There's no negative there. Okay, back to here. Fuel systems, limb fuel, we are in yellow actually. Okay, so we're going to have a -1 because we're low on fuel. Red would be -2. All right, so keep that in mind. We have a -1. And then the navigation, -1 if yellow. And of course, we're in yellow. So that's cumulative. So 2 yellows is a -2 to commander's die roll. And you know what I'm thinking? Save the day card. Because when you roll, you need a 3 or 12 successful. If you roll 2 or less, a hard landing, you can have the limb destroyed or the astronauts stranded on the moon on a hard landing. So we want to mitigate this with the skill of these pilots here. And the commander has a +1. And let's say it's a +1 to 1 die roll except abort 1, 2, 9, program 6, program 13, program 17, and P10 landing position. So let's see. I'm thinking. All right. I'm in P10. Okay, so I'm assuming I can't mitigate that dice. Okay, I'm in P10. That's a +1 except. Okay, I don't see. This is where the game is not very clear. That's the commander. What about the limb pilot? You know, could he? Well, he says exception. Well, you know, it's P10 landing position. So he wouldn't be able to play his card. Okay, so that's clear. At least neither of them could play it. I'm going to roll a dice. Hope for a high number. And it's a 3. I think we're good. It's close, but I believe we are good. We didn't want a 1 or a 2. And so the roll is Commander roll right here. This is what I'm looking for. At the landing attempt position, commander rolls a D12, a 3 to 12. We rolled a 3. Successful landing on the moon. The LIM proceeds to P11 lunar service activities. Wow, that was close. All right, so basically we're going to move down to P11. And this is P10 if the decision to abort. We didn't abort. We went for the landing. And this is what I'm talking about. Sort of a historical reference explanation is usually the top page. And what I've been going to is the bottom page. And so we're on P11, Lunar Surface Activities Procedure. Mission Event Card. Houston draws 1 mission event card. All right. So we're back to mission event. Here we go. Back to this card deck. And it says the commands and service module or LIM module if the LIM is discarded. All right, let's see. System, it's downgrade. Oh, so basically, we're going to roll the dice and we're going to see what has experienced damages. So here's Houston. Here's the dice roll. And it's a 1. And a 1 or a 2. We have -1 to the sim module propulsion. So we're going to go to this board and we're going to get a yellow wooden disc and we're going to put it on the P. So one downgrade to our propulsion system. That's all that was. All right, not bad. And then the activities. The commander, the LIM pilot, and Houston conduct EVA tasks 1 through 4. If task is completed, mark it on the mission game board with a token. Okay, so here are our tasks. There are 4 of them. So the first thing is deploy TV camera for live video back to Earth. So the LIM pilot rolls a D12. Okay, let's try to set up the camera here. And it's a 10, and it says for the 12 successful camera setup and TV broadcaster. Hooray! Now the public can see this. What we do is we get a little black token, and we go to the Apollo mission game board, and let's mark these off. Did we reach Earth parking orbit? Yes. I'll mark that off. Did we fly the sim module to the moon? Yes, we did. All right. And did we land on the moon? Yes, we did. And these are goals that you're trying to achieve and determine whether your mission is successful or not. Did we walk on the moon? Yes, we landed. And so again, it's not specific. It's not going to be a specific. What are they calling these? EVA tasks. So we check that off. And then the next one is, did we do live TV coverage to the moon? Yes, we did. All right. So EVA task number 1 completed. Number 2, the commander now collects lunar samples for return to the Earth. Commander rolls a D12. And it's a 12, lucky 12. Well, high numbers are good in this game. And basically, that says 3 to 12. The desired lunar samples are collected and loaded into the LIM. So we get another black marker here. And I'm going to place this on here. We are going to flip to task number 3. And this is the Lunar Module Pilot deploys scientific experiment. So the Lunar Module Pilot rolls a D12. And a 4 to 12, the experiment successfully deployed and operational. So 4 to 12, and it's a 5. Another black token. I think there's 10 in the game. So set up moon science experiment. All right, and the last one, of course, is to get all these guys back. So let's see what we have. 4. An opportunity to fix the LIM. Okay, great. Or the CSM system. Okay, so we have the SIM modules is 1. And so Houston, 1 repair attempt is going to roll. Now, this is when I need that 12. So Houston is trying to fix the SIM module. And nope, that is a 9. And so the SIM module will remain with 1 damage to propulsion. And that may come to haunt us a little bit later. All right, maybe I should have played, if I could have maybe played Save the Day card. All right, so where are we now? When complete, it says move the limb to P12, limb launch. All right, so clear off this board here. There's no discard pile on any of the boards. So we're going to move, get ready for launch. And the way I understand this is just almost automatic. I don't think you can fail at this. All right, here's a nice little picture. Apollo astronaut on the moon. All right, and limb launch. After completing the surface activities, it's time to launch back into the lunar orbit and rendezvous with the sim module. The descent portion of the limb acts as a launch pad for the ascent stage, which will carry the astronauts and lunar samples off of the moon. How neat is that? Okay, this is after final EVA, crew re-enters the limb, and the limb ascent module is going to lift off. And you get more details if you want to go to reference for the technical stuff. All right, doesn't affect gameplay. So now we're on P12 limb launch procedure requirements. Any except the limb propulsion cannot be red. Well, we're good. We don't have any red. And on the lunar game board, the what's called the limb pilot moves the limb game piece along positions 1 through 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. See him blasting off of the moon. The commander and the limb pilot alternate rolling a d12 at each position. Player's choice of who starts. And what you're looking for is 3 to 12 nominal profile, move to the next position. After position 3, you will move the limb and the command and service module to P13. Okay, so if you fail 2 or less, the ascent profile is marginal but sufficient to attain lunar orbit. Skip remaining P12 positions, rolls the limb and command service module moves to P13, and we got the sim module rescue, which we have to reattach. So you know, I don't see, unless I'm missing something here, I don't see where we cannot be successful, right? It looks like we're okay. So unless the limb propulsion is red, which we're not. So let's go on. Let's do this. So alternating, we roll the dice, and it's a 7, and all that means is we are successful. And we alternate rolling the dice. Oh, and it's a 1. So this is what I'm talking about. So I failed. Did I fall? But 2 says ascent profile marginal, but sufficient to attain lunar orbit. Skip the remaining P12 position rolls, and you just go to P13. All right, so up, and away to P13. I'm going to try to rendezvous with the sim module, and basically we're going to go back to this board. All right. P13, limb rendezvous and docking. Okay, it's going to explain what's happening there. And the actual game procedure is